Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. Just last night I posted a video on YouTube highlighting what many were calling effectively an XRP ledger crisis, and I pushed back against the narrative a bit because, and not to rehash everything that I put in the video, it was about 32 minutes long, check that out. If you want all the specifics as to why I believe the things that I believe, I don't want to do a whole lot of rehashing of what was covered in that video. I'm going to try and keep this one much more brief. But I just want to share with you the perspective that the XRP ledger, can always be improved by pick a metric, and things can always be better to whatever degree. But it is the case that the XRP ledger is healthy. It's functional. It's been around for over a decade. It's achieved network effect. It's one of the most successful and used blockchains in history. Period. It unquestionably is. But there were a few validators that have decided to quit. And there were three specifically that were being discussed, and a couple of them quit because of a Ripple employee sharing personal opinion, not official decree or position from Ripple, but a personal individual sharing perspective about what he thought would make the XRP Ledger Foundation better. And he didn't just post this without consulting others. He consulted a number of individuals, including people who work, well, it's a nonprofit, but who are working at the XRP Ledger Foundation, and others. And so it wasn't like this is some sort of Ripple situation trying to take over, but it prompted a couple validators. It was the final straw, apparently. Oh, Ripple, they're trying to make everything centralized, which doesn't make a damn bit of sense since they only control a few validators. And if you look by their actual actions in the world, they've been taking their validators offline over the years. XRP is much more decentralized than when I jumped into crypto 6 years ago. That's for damn sure. They have fewer validators, but still, Ripple's trying to take over the world. That was the whole thing, right? Trying to make the whole thing centralized, which I just do not buy into that narrative. It doesn't make a damn bit of sense. And so I'm going to highlight some positivity from an XRP Ledger validator who says, no, the network, frankly, is pretty healthy. And so even if you have a critique, that's fine, actually. I don't mind saying, if anybody wants to come and say, okay, but this could be better. Here's why I can probably get behind that. That's fine, but let's not pretend. Here's the thing that bothers me. Let's not pretend that we're in some sort of doomsday scenario. That's the stuff that bothers me. And I also have a perspective from XRP co-creator David Schwartz, Ripple CTO. He had something to say about what effectively prompted, he has something to say about the topic of what prompted the validators to quit. And so let's go ahead and start here. There's this post from Vet on social media platform X, who does run a validator, all right? And shared this graphic, which I'll make full screen for just a moment here. Network state. And he simply posted, XRP Ledger kicking strong thanks to the many node operators. Current XRP Ledger network state. And then he gave a little checkmark emoji. And so, obviously, I know it's the case that even if you say a metric could be better, fine. But I know that the XRP ledger itself is healthy. It's certainly no worse than it was when I jumped in 6 years ago. It's better. It's better off. And so I responded to that with a little tongue-in-cheek response, and I wrote, but what about the new narrative that the XRP ledger is falling apart due to infrastructure issues? We must preserve the narrative. Laughy emoji. And so being a little sarcastic there, of course. Well, Vet responded to me and said, yeah, should encourage all of us to educate on how the XRP ledger works. Misinformation is damaging, 100%. And that is indeed the case. I think that there's a lot of emotions running hot. I think that's the case. But you see validators, three validators is getting highlighted, and it makes people feel emotions. Oh my God, this is unacceptable. We have to do something now. And I'm not saying that, I would disapprove of any actions to encourage validators to keep on validating and, providing the infrastructure they're doing and hearing any concerns they may have. Of course, we can all get on board with that. I just get tired of the doomsday scenario. It doesn't make sense because the truth of the matter is the whole time that I've been here, and the whole time the XRP ledgers existed, dating back 10 years, over 10 years now, there have always been validators leaving and coming. Always. Always, always, always. And that's always going to be the case. For various reasons, they come and go. That's normal. Another community member responded to Vet named Saul and said, "It's a living, breathing, decentralized network." And Vet responded, "Indestructible. There will always be people here for it. Hashtag zero doubt." Somebody named XRP Legion responded to Vet and said, "Thank you. 2 nodes get shut down and people freak out." And Vet responded, "Yeah, nodes go down constantly and come up. We have a lot of nodes and infra online, as you can see." Spot on. That's the big point I want to make. It's not to say brush everything that's not quite perfect under the rug. I'm not making that argument. I'm just saying that people are making way too big a deal out of this. We're not in a crisis. XRP community member Vector responded to him and said, "What do you get for running an XRPL node?" To which Vet responded, "Independent and exclusive access to the network for yourself or for your business." Exactly. So if you support the network, it's because you have a sufficient stake and you want to make sure that it keeps chugging along. As David Schwartz has argued, the best incentive is no incentive. I find the argument compelling. And if you start issuing rewards in the form of XRP to validators, that encourages higher fees. That's the whole thing with Bitcoin and proof of work. The miners want higher fees. Like when XRP is designed to be the best thing on the planet specifically for payments, are you sure you want to mess around with that? You want to try and tweak that after over a decade of success? Aren't you worried about mucking that up? I'd have concerns about such changes. And then we have this. There's a post at the top from David Fueling, who's a Ripple employee. And I went through a bit of this yesterday. He shared this post after the S word hit the fan, and he was trying to explain himself why he shared the opinions that he shared. And I don't have a problem with him sharing his personal perspective. I don't. But he wrote here, "Yesterday I published a proposal for updating the governance structure of the XRPL Foundation. Many have questioned my intentions and motivations," and then he provided a link so you could read more about it. And I'm not going to do that here since I already covered the what I thought to be the most important parts of that yesterday. But mind you, he wasn't proposing changes to the XRP ledger, and he wasn't proposing anything that would give Ripple special powers. It was just suggestions about how the XRP Ledger Foundation could be better at what he thought anyway, which is subjective, and that's fine. And so my argument was, even if it were Ripple, and I said this yesterday, even if it were Ripple coordinating with the XRP Ledger Foundation, those are independent entities operating on top of the XRP Ledger. If they want to do that, it's a decentralized system, and they should be able to do it. I don't care if they want to try to, but that's not even what's happening here. It isn't. Now, as it turns out, David Schwartz was consulted here. And so there was a quote from David in his post here. I'll pull up for just a second here. He said, "Some have asked if I had shared this proposal with others before publishing it. Yes, absolutely, with multiple leaders at the XRPL Foundation, as well as other longtime XRPL developers." And so there, he didn't say specifically it was anyone at Ripple, but I said yesterday, I don't care if it were someone at Ripple. Now we know that it was shared with people at Ripple, at least one, David Schwartz here. And here's David Schwartz's response to all of this, which frankly is in line with the thinking that I shared yesterday. He wrote, and this is a direct quote from David Schwartz, "Appreciate this public clarity from you, David Fueling. David also shared his proposal with me as a courtesy beforehand, as he did with XRP Ledger Foundation, and the foundation was receptive to the proposal. At the end of the day, though, he, like any other community member, doesn't need permission to contribute ideas and proposals. As David said, this proposal is a straw man designed to stimulate open dialogue and gather diverse suggestions. There's no pressure to adopt it as is. Instead, it's a starting point and opportunity for collaborative refinement and exploration. The proposal is suggesting ways to make XRPL governance more transparent and democratic. This outcome can only become more valuable with the community's input." Exactly. And so look, no Ripple or nobody at Ripple, whether you're talking about the company or just individuals at the company, they can't force anything on the community. It is decentralized. If the XRP Ledger wants to go along with anything, whether it's a suggestion from me or you listening or Ripple, if they think it's good, then they can do it, but it can't be forced because it's decentralized. And so if they do think any suggestion from a Ripple employee, or even if it were from Ripple the company, which it isn't, fine. It's a whole big nothing. So I just wanted to update and highlight that with some good perspective from a separate validator vet, which I appreciate. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.